Guess what? It's me again. Hello, 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 hello. Welcoming everyone. Come on in. Come on in the room. Just come on in. Remember, I'm coming to you every day. I hope y'all not sick of me. I ain't sick of y'all. Y'all not sick of me. Y'all not sick. But just to give you a quick little word, encouragement on this midday. And I'm not in the car riding line just yet. So I'm going to give you just a quick little encouragement this afternoon. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you can join me. If you can, jump in the comment section. Let me know you're there. And then hit the like and or share button. If something pricks your heart, if something was so good to you and you're like, I need to send this out to my people to encourage them, don't be selfish. Share. Hit that button. But again, jump in the comment section. Let me know you are here. Again, hello again. I'm going through a lot of things in this season, and I know it's not for myself. I know that the Lord is leading me to share some of these lessons that I'm learning, and that's what I'm doing daily. I'm just sharing, and it's simple. It's called Lessons I'm Learning in This Season. So one of the lessons that I'm learning in this season is to uninvite, disinvite, uninvite, whatever you want to say, the crowd. What does that mean? So I'm a millennial, and in our millennial age, of course, we are all about the likes and the followers and how many, people love this. You love this. You like this and you didn't love it. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that's where we are. Many of us are thriving off of the likes and the follows. I just think about my children who aren't millennials, who are in the next generation, and they are all about how many followers they have, how many people viewed, and all these other things. And so we have a tendency to love the crowd. But the Lord is telling us today, or at least this is what I'm learning in this season, is to uninvite the crowd. Tell them they're not invited. Tell them to get out your space. Shoo, I don't need you here. I don't need the crowd. Because where God is taking you, where you are going in this next level, especially in 2024, the crowd is going to be a problem. The crowd is going to be a distraction. They are going to confirm the things that you don't want to be confirmed in your life. And so you need to tell the crowd, go ahead, shoo, I don't need you here in this season. And so the Lord kept telling me, in this season, you've got to remember we talked about isolation. It's not about isolating, but it's being selective in my circle. I've got to have a selective circle, a purposeful circle in this season, and it does not involve the crowd. Now, as a preacher and teacher, I may preach to a crowd, but that doesn't mean the crowd is in my inner circle. They're just not. Okay, I've got to be selective because I've got to hear from God. I need the right encouragement. I need faith-based people that are going to speak into my life and that I can speak into theirs. It's got to be reciprocal relationships in this season. Somebody say that with me. Reciprocal relationships in this season. I got to have your back and you got to have my back. And I can't have anybody on my team that doesn't believe the same way I believe, that's not flowing in the same way I'm flowing, that's not speaking in the same way I'm speaking. We can't be in the same circle. I'm sorry. I love you, but I gotta love you from a distance. And so the Lord brought me to this scripture, this familiar passage of text. Yes, gotta have my back. Yes, ma'am. Amber the educator agreed with me. You gotta have my back, and I've gotta be able to have yours in this situation. But the Lord took me to Matthew 9. Verses 18 and 23 through 25. I'm not going to read it for you. You can go there and look at it yourself. But it's a familiar story about an official that came to Jesus and said, hey, my daughter is dying. My daughter has died. But here's the thing. He said, I believe. Well, this is the thing. The Lord is working on me about belief systems as well. And do you believe? But he said, hey, I believe if you could just put your hands on her, if you could just touch her, she'll be able to be made whole. She'll be alive again. That's all I need you to do. Yes, she has died, but I just need you to touch her. And so we know the story. Jesus is going to head on his way there. But this woman with this issue of blood, kind of touches him and she's made whole. We know the story, right? Well, it kicks off again in 23. Right, there's an interruption from 18 to verse 23. This other woman has come in here and realized, if I could just touch Jesus, that's a powerful touch. And so, excuse me, I know you got all this other stuff, but excuse me, I got a need. Somebody out there needs to have that kind of mentality. Yeah, I know this is where we started. I know this was a part of the program, but excuse me, I got a need. I need Jesus to touch my situation. And so he gonna come back to y'all. I promise. He's not gonna forget y'all, but he's got to touch my situation. So I'm gonna throw in this commercial break real quick so I can get what I need to get. Some of y'all have been far too selfish. I mean, far too selfless, and not thinking about, hey, God, I need you to touch my situation. You just been standing by, just being polite and letting all these other pass. You got to get to a point where you're like, no, I am going to get my breakthrough. I am going to get something out of this message, out of this word, out of this experience. I'm going to get something out of it. And so that's what this woman was. Commercial break. I need to get in here and get something from him. So Jesus still remembered what the official asked him to do, right? So he gets to this man's house, and when he gets there, it's crowded with people, right? And in that tradition, what they used to do is pay mourners because someone has died. Remember, the man said, my daughter died, but I believe if you can touch her, she will rise again. So they've paid mourners. They have, processions of music playing, funeral songs playing. And, in that culture, someone is probably crying and just, it's a big scene. Right? The NLT version said it was noisy. I mean, I can imagine how chaotic it is at this scene right now. And so Jesus gets there, and it's like, wait a minute. The man and I have an understanding. Okay? Now, he might not have told the crowd to go on head home that I was coming, but he and I got to understand that all I've got to do, even though her situation looks dead right now, all I've got to do is just touch her. Matter of fact, I can just speak a word and she will rise again. But for his benefit, all I've got to do is just touch her. So all of this is unnecessary. Have you ever been in a situation where there's a whole bunch of unnecessary stuff going on? You're like, all of this wasn't called for. Y'all are being way too dramatic. I know I invited you to come in, but now y'all just taking over, and it's just gotten beyond me. I've been in situations like that where I just lose control of the whole situation. And I invited these people to come. It's like having a house party, and you invited 10 friends, and all of a sudden those friends invite somebody else, and those friends invite somebody else, and you turn around and it's a house full of folk that you don't know, that don't know your situation, that are not treating your stuff properly, and you just feel like you have lost all control, right? I can imagine that's the situation that this man is in. I have invited Jesus to come to my house. Before I invited him, the situation looked dire, it looked bleak, and so of course it looked discouraging, and she had already died. And so I made preparations and plans until I realized, oh snap, Jesus is in town. This whole situation can turn around. That has happened in many of our lives. We have invited the crowd in for whatever reasons because the situation looked a certain way, and we've invited them to come and give us their opinions, give us, help us, with some things, put their hands on some things, confirm some of the doom and gloom that we thought was happening in our lives. And all of a sudden, you get to a point where you lose control. You can't think for yourself. You can't hear God correctly. And when you want to hear God, you got somebody else over there reminding you, remember how he did you? Remember how they did you? Remember, you gonna go back to that person? You gonna do this again? I wouldn't do that if I was you. And all of a sudden you're crowded with all of these other beliefs, all these other opinions, suggestions, and you can't hear clearly. And so this man is dealing with all of this, and Jesus comes in there like, what in the world is happening? You invited me to your house, and you got this whole funeral procession going on. I thought you believed something different. So Jesus, being such a good friend, what a friend we have in Jesus. He says to this man, excuse me, can I take over? I got you? Okay. Hey, everybody up out of here. Just as simple as that. And I'm sorry, y'all, I'm just going to be myself. That's who I am. This is what I think Jesus said. Hey, hey, hold up, hold up. Everybody out of here. Cut that music down. Put that flute to the side. All of y'all get up out of here. Now, I don't need you. He doesn't need you. You are making the situation worse. We don't need you in here. Everybody out. So then Jesus tells them, and a matter of fact, the girl ain't even dead. She's asleep. Okay, I know the man initially thought she was dead, which is why he started this whole party thing with you all. But guess what? She's not dead, and I've come here to raise her up. Everybody out. Some of us have got to do that in our lives, y'all. And if you can't do it, you may need somebody, a faith-based friend, to come in and help you say, everybody out. Just like that. Everybody out. I remember when my daughter had died, and we were in mourning, of course. So Damien and I decided we were going to wear black all week long because this was our outward appearance of mourning. We were just mourning, and we wanted everybody to know, basically, like, don't do that. We are mourning. We're remembering her. And so I remember the crowd came to the house, and I speak about it in our book, Grace in One. The crowd came to the house. Everybody's moving. They're wanting stuff from us, and they're pulling, right? That's what it feels like. They're pulling from you, pulling emotionally, physically. They're pulling at you, and you feel like you have nothing left to give anybody. And so I sat there numb in a chair and just in a gaze, really, watching people just move about my house, doing whatever they wanted to do, having whatever conversations they wanted to have. And I just sat there in grief, just looking around. Nobody's really paying attention to us. And they're just moving around, doing, talking, having, and it's just, and one of my friends said, stop. You feel that silence? You feel it? Some of us need to feel that silence. There's a peace that comes with having a friend, an individual, or even the Savior himself come into your life and just say, stop. Stop the talking. Stop the gossiping. Stop the whispering. Stop the doubting. Stop fearing. Stop the anxiety. Stop. And let me remove you. And that's what my friend did. She come upstairs. She took me upstairs. And she took me to a place of peace where I couldn't hear all of that stuff that was going on. And she said, you're going to be okay. Remember, that's what we keep saying. For the past week, I've been saying that to everybody. It's going to be okay. What do you need me to do? Now, fortunately for this man, Jesus already knew what this man needed him to do. So once he booted everybody out, get out, everybody out, he went over. Oh, and he told them she's only asleep. And guess what they did when he told them that? They laughed at Jesus, started clowning. But as they left, Jesus just went over and grabbed her and picked her up and said, get up, daughter. You're alive. Get up. You were just waiting on me to come. Many of us are crying inwardly, and we are asking God to give us the peace that we need in our situations. Lord, there's so much going on. I feel pulled in this direction, pulled in this direction, pulled in this, and I just can't think for myself. My situation looks bleak. It looks dead. It looks like it'll never be resurrected again. However, I do believe that if you come check on me, come see about me, that you can handle all of this. And many of us are in that season right now. I'm in that season. Lord, come check on me. I need a friend that can come by and say, enough. Everybody out. All doubts, all fears, all anxiety, this collector, this person, whatever you want from her, she's got nothing left. Everybody out. Anybody else like that? Or is it just me? It's okay if it's just me, because I'm okay, because this is a lesson I'm learning in this season. I need somebody, my spiritual father, to come and say, she can't take nothing else. She don't need to hear the crowd. She only needs to hear me. She only needs to see me. It doesn't matter what you think about the situation. It doesn't matter she only needs to hear and see from me. And he has come and shown up, I'm telling y'all, in my situations where I've been the crowd has been in my head. Oftentimes the crowd isn't even a physical crowd. It's a spiritual or emotional crowd that is crowded in our heads, in our hearts, and won't allow us to hear from the Lord. And so what does he say? I'm coming in to see about you. And I'm telling all those other things to get out, to remove themselves out of your way, because I am about to do something unique in your life. And I don't need a crowd. That's the thing. He went in there, kicked all the people out, and still raised that girl up. Guess what? You could see the impact. You could see the impact of what he did. His presence. Here's the thing. Nobody's got to see what God is doing in your life. They'll eventually see it. They'll have to see it now, that he's working on your heart, that he's fixing some things. That ain't their business. They don't have to see it. They don't have to believe it. You don't have to tell them. They will see the end result. So you might see me in a dead situation and talk about me and say these things about me, or you may be praying for me, and you may be, because everybody isn't always out to do you harm, right? You could be praying for me. You could be encouraging me, but you're looking at a situation that doesn't look alive. It doesn't look good. But in the end, you will see the end result, that all things work together for good to them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. Have you been called according to God's purpose? If so, it's all going to work out in the end. That's Romans 8:28. That's one of my favorites. It's going to work out in the end. It doesn't matter how dead it looks right now. It doesn't matter how dooming it looks right now. It will all work out in the end. And guess what? In the end, if you read down verse 26, I believe, it talks about the girl's healing. Man, that word spread throughout all of their region. Just the simple fact that they saw her up and walking and knew she was dead. So when your situation turns around, you won't even have to say anything. People will start seeing it, and they're going to start talking. And the only thing they can do is say, God must have done that for her. Woo! That situation looked bad. I'm telling you, people are going to start testifying about your experience as if it were their own. I saw that. I saw it for myself. That thing was dead. And I'm telling you, look at it now. Look, you can see it. God is going to get his glory through your situation. So what you got to do is tell the crowd, I don't need you right now in this season. Sorry, I don't need you. I got something that's dead, but I got a belief that's very much alive. And I believe if he can just touch my situation, speak into my situation, all of this stuff is going to change. And that's a lesson I'm learning. Every single day I get up, my husband and I get up, and we are speaking into our situation. And we are declaring and decreeing some things that they are alive. It doesn't matter what they look like. They are alive. And well, they're doing well. And so it don't matter what you see right now. Looks are deceiving. God is about to awaken some things in our lives. And you've just got to trust and believe. And tell the crowd to get out. Somebody say it with me. Everybody out. Everybody out. I'm like Martin. Martin Lawrence. Everybody out. I'm tired of the crowd. Everybody out. Especially if you're in my head and in my heart. If he didn't call you to be there, you got to go. Anxiety, grief, frustration, anger, resentment, all y'all, everybody out. So remember that word today. The crowd has got to go. Allow that one person, which is Jesus Christ, to come in and clear the room for you and do what he does best. So I hope you were encouraged by that word today. If you were, hit that like button and hit share. It might be a blessing to somebody else. If you say, I don't like anything that she said, you know what? It's okay. Don't we say that? It's okay. You could keep that to yourself. But if you were encouraged, hit that like, hit that share, and let somebody else be a blessing. Y'all go about your day. Have a blessed day. And guess when I'll see y'all? Y'all know when. Tomorrow. Have a good day, y'all.